Thomas the Tank Engine was distracted. It was to be his first Christmas running his branch line. The passengers were sure he'd be full of cheer, but his whistles were anything but merry. They all concurred something was off. Annie and Clarabelle were off too, for reasons plain to anyone. "Not again, Thomas!" Annie moaned. "Must we bring him everywhere we go?" Clarabelle complained. He was Old King Cole, an ancient wagon that had bounced from railway to railway. How he came to be on Thomas's line, no one knew, or cared to find out. King bumped and creaked along, his coal dust turning the sparkling snow a deep black. "Not unless one of you wants to carry coal," Thomas answered. "He's, essential." "You hear that? Essential I am!" King chuckled. Annie and Clarabelle couldn't understand it, but Thomas's crew did. "When do you suppose you'll have time to make this delivery of yours?" the driver asked incredulously. "Well, I'll find time, surely. Perhaps I'll have to cover for another engine," Thomas beamed hopefully. "Oh yes," the fireman smirked. "The fat controller will be pleased to hear your branch line has been deserted at Christmas." "Oh dear," Thomas sighed. "I hadn't thought of that. Perhaps," his driver added reassuringly, "another engine can deliver it for you." The driver's suggestion was about to be put to the test as they found Henry waiting at the junction. "You're late," Henry fussed. "A little extra weight giving you trouble?" "Actually," Thomas smirked, "this truck is most important. It needs to go to Edward Station. Surely you could take it on." "Surely not! My trains are heavy enough this time of year without that filthy old thing bumping behind me." "Rubbish," huffed Thomas. "You're just lazy. I always said you needed exercise." This evidently was the wrong thing to say. "Huh! If it's so important, take it yourself. And when you get there, perhaps Edward can remind you what good manners are. Goodbye!" Henry snorted away, and Thomas was back to square one. As Christmas drew nearer, Thomas's luck finding another engine didn't improve. Gordon laughed at the idea of pausing at junctions. Old King Cole refused to go with James. "I'd sooner fall to pieces," he grunted. And the engines from the other railway didn't know what an Edward was. "Bother those big engines," he fussed. An order from the quarry kept him busy all afternoon. Annie and Clarabelle grumbled. Stone trucks were one thing, but with King bumping and dragging, they were late to the junction. "Hurry now and get those trucks shunted," urged the station master. "The goods train will be here soon." "Leave me out of it. Me couplers feel funny," the old truck groused. This gave Thomas a cheeky idea. "Right," he thought. "If they won't agree to take it, I'll make them take it." Thomas gave the trucks a fearful bump. King's coupling broke with a snap, and he creakily rolled onto the main line, stopping near the platform. "I'd like to see Henry and James say no now," Thomas laughed. But the petrified whistle that followed wasn't Henry, and it wasn't James. With brakes screeching, the goods train stopped just in time. The engine that stood before King was... "Edward!" Thomas cried. "What are you doing here?" "I've brought Henley's goods," Edward panted, "and he's vowed never to stop at your junction again. You've been the talk of the sheds, Thomas. Now I see why. What's this?" he asked. "It's your present," Thomas chuckled nervously. Surprise?" "Oh," Edward realized. "I see." "We don't, and we'd like to," Annie and Clarabelle chorused. "Well, when we were building the railway," Edward began, "I wasn't steaming well." Thomas brought fresh coal to cheer me up. And he felt better at once, beamed Thomas. I'd give him a truck of coal every Christmas since, for his good health. Which you nearly put into question, Edward finished, eyeing King. Those silly big engines wouldn't deliver it, Thomas flounced. I had to ensure it got to you, otherwise I'd have to admit this Christmas is different, Edward interjected. Thomas said nothing. He just looked mournfully at his buffers. Change is strange, Edward mused. The first Christmas on my branch seemed daunting, but it wasn't. My new friends made sure it was special, and my old friends still came to visit. Except me, Thomas pouted. You had responsibilities, Edward added, and still do. You have Annie and Clarabelle and your passengers. Think of the wonderful new traditions you'll make with them this year. Edward paused. I may not see you as often as Gordon, Henry, or James, but I do love when they moan about you being cheeky, he laughed. That's what reminds me of you, Thomas, not of truck of coal. Besides, he finished with a smirk, a blocked tube was the source of my trouble in those early days. What? Thomas cried. All this time I've brought you coal, thinking it made you better. You were just so pleased with your gift, I didn't have the heart to tell you. Well, you'll get no more, good tidings from me. Can't understand what driver means by that, anyhow. Good tidings, Thomas, Edward chuckled. It means well wishes. You've given me plenty, and even if this is the last time, I'm very thankful. Now then, he finished, you'll help Shunk King onto my train, won't you? It'd be a shame to let this coal go to waste. That, of course, put everything right. When all was ready, Edward gave a cheerful peep peep and made for his station. Thomas whistled too. Then looked at Annie and Clarabelle and smiled. Right then, you two. Our first tradition. No more trips with King. Annie and Clarabelle chuckled in delight and knew they'd all have a very happy first Christmas.